Why do you need an attorney to review any contract worth $20,000 or more? This is Lenny the Lawyer Live, and I'm going to explain this to you. But before we get started, a little housekeeping. This video is for legal information and educational purposes only. This is not to be taken as legal advice. Now, with that out of the way, first of all, when you get a contract, when you're buying something for $10,000, $10,000 to $20,000 or more, you're emotionally involved and you're not thinking rationally. You may have missed important details on the contract, so do not sign any contract for $20,000 or more without having an attorney review the contract for you. First of all, you're not a trained attorney. You don't know what the terms mean. You don't know the consequences of signing that contract. When you bring the contract to me and I review it, I'm going to go over the terms of the contract and I'm going to explain to you what they really mean. Knowing what you're signing is extremely important. Any contract that contains legal terminology which you may not understand may be something totally different from what you were led to believe. The person selling the service to you or whatever you're purchasing for $20,000 or more has written the contract to benefit them, not you. So this may be an adhesion contract. And I can guarantee you one thing with absolute certainty, 100% of the time. Having an attorney review your contract is a lot cheaper than having a lawsuit. Many times when you sign a contract, you may be buying a lawsuit without even knowing it. What clauses in a contract are there that can hurt you? Well, first of all, if you're in a contract, the clauses have been written so that it benefits the person who wrote the contract. There's no negotiation in a contract like this. You either sign it or you don't. You either get the item you want or you don't. And you're emotionally involved and you're not making decisions logically. You're going to be making your decisions based on emotion, and later you'll justify them logically. Because you are not an attorney, you don't know what a clause in a contract means. If the contract is governed by the laws of a certain state, what does that mean if you're in a different state when the contract is breached? Also, what does each clause mean and how do they fit together? Knowing those things is extremely important to anybody purchasing an item for $20,000 or more. I remember the last time I bought a car. I went to the dealer and they gave me the paperwork, and I sat down with the dealer. I told the dealer, I said, give me a couple of bottles of water and I'm going to read this contract. And I read it line by line. Because if I didn't read it line by line, I would have gotten myself into something that I didn't like and that was not favorable to me. I had the dealer change certain terms. I eliminated the arbitration clause. I made it so that they did not have over me what they would have over a typical person. And I ended up paying much less for that car because I went over the contract and I eliminated certain things that would have cost me a lot more money. A lot of car dealers try to give you force-placed insurance or have you go to their insurance agent or deal with their insurance agent. Anytime you purchase a vehicle, not only do you have to look at the contract, but you have to take that vehicle. I don't care if it's a certified used car. You take that vehicle to an independent mechanic and you have them go over that vehicle bumper to bumper. If it's all still good and you want that vehicle, you bring the contract to me. I'm going to look over the contract in detail. If I have to take out my magnifying glass, I'll take out my magnifying glass and I will make sure No detail of that contract is left without an explanation. Now, what does it mean if there's an arbitration clause in the contract? It means that you're giving up your rights to a trial by jury, which may be less favorable to you than having a jury trial and having people decide your cases rather than a retired judge or some other person that's been trained as an arbitrator. You don't want that. It's not going to work. Sometimes it's a lot more expensive than a jury trial. That's not to say that a jury trial is the best way to go in every situation. But a jury trial, there are people on that jury that have hearts. The arbitrator is not someone that has a heart that you can appeal to. One of the most outrageous contracts you could ever sign, and I've spoken about this previously on another video, is a contract for the installation of solar panels on your home. Did you know that the typical solar panel contract controls you and who you can sell that house to? And that contract is 25 years. You come to my office with a solar panel contract, I will tell you, and it says 25 years, I'll tear it up in front of you. I'll just tear the thing up. I wouldn't let you sign that. It would almost be malpractice if I let you sign something like that. Why? Because in that type of contract, you don't realize that what you're doing by signing that contract and agreeing to it, it's going to have an arbitration clause in there, which is almost impossible under the existing case law to defeat. Number one. Number two, that's for 25 years. Who wants to sign a contract for 25 years? And on top of that, they control who you can sell the house to. They have to approve that person. If somebody is coming to me and they want to buy a house with solar panels installed on it, I will tell them absolutely not. When you go to make a purchase, are you able to negotiate the terms of the contract? Because if you're not, it's not worth doing that. And quite frankly, no matter how skilled you are in your industry, you should have an attorney negotiate that contract for you. That's right, the attorney is not emotionally involved. If I'm your attorney, I'm going to tell you what's good, what's bad, and I'm going to negotiate so that it's an even contract, that there's a meeting of the minds. A contract, when a court considers it, and for the most part, it's just the four corners of the contract, with rare exceptions. You don't want to be at a disadvantage when you're in court. If you haven't negotiated the terms of that contract with the person who's selling you the product or service, that's what's known as an adhesion contract. That is very difficult to get out of, but it can be done. So before you sign any contract, you need to call Lenny the lawyer, Leonard Boyer, at 973-798-6131, and I will review that contract, and I won't let you sign anything that's not good, that's going to hurt you. Remember, if you come to me to have a legal consultation, either by Zoom or in person in my office, I will tell you what's good and what's bad, and I will translate legalese into plain, simple English so you understand exactly what you may be signing. Thank you for spending your time with me. This is Lenny the Lawyer Live, and I'm here to help you. This has been a legal information and education. No attorney-client privilege or legal advice has been offered. So remember, as soon as you go to buy something, when you get that contract, your next step is to call Leonard Boyer at 973-798-6131 and I'll be there to answer the phone and set up an appointment with you where in my office or over a secured video conference, there you will have legal advice. There is no such thing as legal advice on social media. That's why I've told you this video is for educational and informational purposes only. And I hope this has been a valuable use of your time, because I know your time is precious. And if you'd be kind enough to do me a favor, if you're watching this video on YouTube, click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified of future videos when I make them. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them below in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you got some value out of this video. And remember, the number to call for legal advice from Leonard Boyer is 973-798-6131. Thank you.